All right, family. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarah Soon said he kick back, get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. That's right, family. We're excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all already know what it is. Black Power, frequency and energy. You feeling that frequency and energy? You should become a member. The link is right down in the video description in the chat room. Click that link. You'll get a introduction video rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence here at the Sarah Soon Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace, 25% off selected items at this time. Save and shop and save. Official General Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, holistic tonics and remedies, home decor, accessories for every room in the house. KingSeti.com online marketplace. Check us out today. That's right, family. Pull the fire alarm. GeneralSeti.com. Over 1,200 videos of pure heat. You already know what that is. There's no more dynamic. We talking about frequency. You see, we talking about General Seti University frequency that's gonna have you up and motivated to making major moves. This is what one of our mottos is: motivating Africans to making major moves. That's what it's about. It's frequency. It ain't just information. It's frequency and energy and information. Truth overpowering knowledge. You see, to correct all the inconsistencies on the planet and in the universe. So we want you over there. African history, heritage, Black power, nation building, occult information, all the subjects that you know and love from General Seti is there. We also got supplemental and also monumental and instrumental research material of the master teachers. You see, and our dynamic researchers with an overview from the general. It don't get no better. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna really put some new information on there. It's already packed. It's like the Black Power Netflix. So most definitely get over there and check it out. And the energy is off the meters, family, for real. Seti popping on Patreon, BPC making noise. We never calm. Exclusive live streams. Too hot to handle on YouTube. I got two up. The Man Beast. We're going to be dealing with the Man Beast and why the evolutionary story is real to the Western man. It's real. It's real to them. And you can see, it didn't just pop up nowhere. The reality is they knew something about themselves that made the evolutionary story real to them. And so we got to look at that. We also going to be dealing with Adam and Eve, the first pale man and woman on the planet. We're going to deal with the Noah story and how that relates to the caveman. And, and how they trying to erase our history so they can bring in this Neanderthalic mythology that they trying to put on our people. So I want you to get over there on Patreon. It's too raw for YouTube. And you most definitely want this energy and frequency because it's going to straighten shit out in your mind so you can straighten it out in real time. That's right, family. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King Seti, General Seti, Sarah Soon Seti. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. And comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, they talking about, is Russia funding Hamas with weapons of war? Well, shit, I mean, we got to talk about, they all in cahoots. They all in cahoots. You got Russia and Syria. They right there. What are we talking about? And you hear that the Syrians is bombing Israel. And I'm wondering, I'm like, what the fuck is Russia doing up there? You see what they doing? Because Israel is constantly bombing Syria. Constantly bombing that motherfucker. So the question becomes, what the fuck is they up there doing? You see, why are they there? You see, in reality, I think, it's some I guess it's some pro Saudi Arabia, pro American, I don't know, fighters in there that's trying to overthrow the president of Syria. But it's probably, no different than a Ukraine and having a Western base so close to Turkey and goddamn well, they already in Turkey anyway. You see, but to have a even another northern front where they can stack some missiles and shit and this that, and so I believe Russia is in there, for that cause. But a lot of the weaponry that they have found Hamas shooting off is coming from Russia. You see, so now you got the possibility. You know what I'm saying? If they get into a war, how they gonna deal with that? You see, how they gonna deal with that? And Russia is in Syria, and it break into an all-out war. And they Syria has weaponry that's mass destruction. Iran get them some shit, of mass destruction. They're gonna have to tell Russia, you're gonna have to get the fuck out of here because we're gonna have to bomb this motherfucker. You want to stay in this motherfucker, you gonna get the same. But that's a serious possibility that could happen. You see, you get Lebanon, and Syria, and a whole lot more. And so that whole area can go up. And the crazy shit about it, it's like you got Israel sitting right where it's sitting, and like damn near 25 nations around it is all Muslims. You see, what who the oddball, who's the oddball in a sea of Arabs or Muslims, at least at the minimum. I ain't gonna say it, but Muslims, but they all Caucasoids, so we could say that. You see, and so United States bringing is two aircraft carriers with support. The aircraft carriers don't move by themselves. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna have the cruisers or the destroyers and shit, and they come with about I don't know how many ships be in a squadron, but I'm quite sure it could be 15 or something like that in each. So it could damn near be 30 some goddamn ships out there right now. You see what I'm saying? If you see it's two aircraft carriers out there, you can bet believe it's some motherfucking submarines out there too. They ain't just playing with them. You see what I'm saying? They ain't playing with them. You know what I'm saying? And so if they let them know them, and if them, them subs come with them nukes, that's all that's what that means. They come with them, they come with them Triton missiles and shit. You see? So if they say them goddamn submarines is out there, then that means that they willing to, pull the plug on their ass with them nukes. You see what I'm saying? Point blank. And Israel probably got some too. It ain't no probably, they do. And and crazy as it sounds, they talking about yeah, Russia and North Korea have supersonic weapons. But you know what? I was listening, and they, they got them, but they ain't put them motherfuckers in production yet. That's where yeah, they ain't putting that shit in no mass production yet. They bumping their gums and shit. North Korea has some failures and shit, so. They didn't have some failures out there. So a lot of them be wolfing to try to bluff a motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? They, but, believe you me, This beast ain't bluffing. You see what I'm saying? He's not bluffing with their ass and shit. You know, the shit that he got is real. And in real talk, they can have the supersonic. The supersonic shit is that's but the motherfucking ballistic missiles and shit is still enough. It ain't no, shit. What the fuck, One of them motherfuckers alone, got some of them got 10 warheads on them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So shit, the ballistic missiles is still enough. Especially if them motherfuckers and they shooting them motherfuckers off a sub and you don't even know where the fuck they coming from. And then they got them motherfucking them stealth bombers and shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll fly, and them motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, flying right over they shit. So North Korea don't want no smoke. They talk that good. They got shit for a defensive posture. They know good and goddamn well if they shoot that motherfucker off, it's doomsday for their ass. You see what I'm saying? It's doomsday. Cause they gonna, you don't know what, these beasts got as far as technology now. You see what I'm saying? And they gonna use this opportunity, because they didn't found like a clink in that goddamn Iron Dome. You see what I'm saying? And they shoot so many of them motherfuckers over there. You understand what I'm saying? To it overpower their motherfucking system. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reality of that, And so, they got ways of, and that and shit. They talking about, man, I seen one where they talking about, man, where United States talking about they're gonna overwhelm motherfuckers with drones and shit. They talking about, sending in just, hundreds of them motherfuckers to fuck your radar up. You know what I'm saying? Fuck your radar up. Why the crazy shit, you know what I'm saying, is coming up from the opposite way. You know what I'm saying? They got this, they got some crazy, they got them lasers out there. I heard that it's a new day and age where they're gonna be testing a lot of shit. That's when they got the Iron Dome. Yeah, Russia has drone jamming tech. Yeah. Listen, Russia got some shit, man. Russia got some shit. They got some shit. I still think the United States is a little, they're ahead of Russia. And you could tell because Russia always got to play the nuke card. You see, they got to play the nuke card. Well, if this shit don't work right here, you see what I'm saying? Then we might consider dropping some nukes. You say Saudi Arabia versus Iran conflict. I could do that. That just that go to the beginning of Islam. When you start talking about the Iran, Saudi Arabia, because the Iranians, they think they not, they all different cavemen. They, some come from a different cave, but they all cavemen. And so you got the Iranians, which is rooted in the word Iran. And I do a whole one, Aryan. You see, they claim that they're Aryans. You see what I'm saying? And then you got the Arab. And so really, when you talk about the war that's going on between Iran and Saudi Arabia, which started when they was trying, in early Islam, when they was trying to see who was going to lead Islam, who was going to be the head of Islam. When Muhammad supposedly died, which they've never proven that he lived, it was an argument on whether who should be his successor. And so you had one group that argued that it should be through his bloodline and that it should be through his son-in-law, Ali, who was married to his daughter, Fatima. You see, and so they said that Ali, and so those who sided with Ali, they're Shiite Muslims. And Iran is the head of that. They the ones that is the head of Shia or Shiite is Muslims. And that, like I say, they believe in Ali and his, being the successor, that it should be through his bloodline. Then you got the Sunni Muslims, and the Sunni Muslims believe that it should be the most learned and competent leader. You see what I'm saying? The most dynamic leader. It shouldn't not just bloodline, but it should be the most dynamic leader and competent leader. And so that's what they chose. And so they chose over Ali, they chose Abu Bakr. And then, after Abu Bakr, it was Omar. Then you had Uthman, and you know what I'm saying? And these were supposedly the 5 great ones. And Ali was one of them too. Eventually, Ali would get in there. But I believe right after Ali passed, that's when it really, it really was the split. You see what I'm saying? It really was the split. And so that's where you get Iran versus Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia is the head of the Sunnis spiritually. Egypt is literally the head of Islam, real talk. You see what I'm saying? They really the head, but Mecca is in Saudi Arabia. So, they looked at it spiritually as the head of the Sunni Muslims. And so that's what that is all about. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. And so they got their factions and, so on and so forth. And like I said, that's going to go on forever too. That's going to go on. But what I'll do tomorrow is I touch on it in a greater sense, in a greater sense. But, it could really get sticky, and you can see China is in the back. We see them back there. You know what I'm saying? They playing off of all this shit. They playing off of all this shit because they could do what United States is doing with Ukraine. They'll lace them with weaponries and shit, this, that, and the third, and and if they do it, that's gonna be. And if they willing to do that, if they willing to lace Iran, that include China, that include North Korea, they talking about they giving and they probably didn't already start shipping shit in. You know what I'm saying? They didn't making deals with them and shit, this, that, and the third. And this probably be a good time to do it because they ain't under no premises of threat or nothing. And so if they make some deals and shit and this, that, and the third, they could just be some fake deals. Say, yeah, I want to get so many of these and planes and these many bombs and shit. And they could be stockpiling right now. You see what I'm saying? They can be stockpiling right now. Who would know? So, North Korea most definitely lace them, and China lace them, and Russia, they got their thing going on in Ukraine, but they can lace them too. And so they can actually do with Iran and they proxies with the West and with NATO and United States been doing with Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? It's just flip it. You see what I'm saying? Stretch them and shit. And so if it get down to the get down, United States gonna have to go to war with Iran. That ain't gonna be no, it's gonna be it's gonna be like Iraq. It's gonna be like Iraq. and they ain't gonna fall like that. You know what I'm saying? So you gonna be over there fighting for a minute. You gonna until you ready to leave about that motherfucker. But every day you over there, goddamn it, it's gonna be a motherfucking war. And so if that's what you're willing to do and that's what you're ready to do, be prepared for. But if you ready to fight that kind of war with Iran, what you gonna do if the Chinese go into Taiwan? What you gonna do? You think you gonna fight Iran and China at the same time? They say the United States is military is so strong that it can fight two wars at one time. They say that. They say that. I can't see them stretch like that. To fight China, they're gonna need all their strength for China. They're gonna need it. They ain't gonna need they can't be stretched like that. You know, if they have to, they're gonna have to bring they're gonna have to bring NATO in. They're gonna have to bring all their allies in order to pull that off. You see what I'm saying? And they're gonna have, and if they don't come, they're gonna be vassals. They're gonna be vassals to China. That's what they're gonna be after that. Because they ain't gonna have no support from nobody else. It'll be over for Europe. You see what I'm saying? The last nail in the coffin is if America fall militarily. And if they do, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They day in the sun is over with. You see what I'm saying? So if they get into it with Iran, and some shit jump off with China, they all gonna have to ride. And so you're gonna see North Korea, you're gonna see China, you're gonna see Russia. You're gonna see Russia. And at that time you're gonna see even India going. It's gonna be the biggest world war that you done ever seen that's been on the planet. And I don't know if if it'll surpass World War II in numbers, but it's gonna be crazy. You see, and that's why they real tight. They trying to get tight with India because that's what they need. They're gonna need India. They're gonna need India to offset China. You see, that's how they setting that shit up. They're gonna need India, and they trying to, and from what I heard, they trying to almost make India a part of NATO. They trying to, give them so many perks and shit, to bring them in. So that's what they're gonna try to use against China is India. You see what I'm saying? So they setting that shit up now over there. Getting all it didn't change. Motherfuckers, early on when they start getting into it with China, motherfuckers was like, yeah, it's thin over there that they can know that shit. They didn't filled in a lot of that shit over there now. They didn't got on some of them islands. They got damn self. They in there. You see, and so they packing that shit up and getting it in. They stockpiling and shit. They got factories probably building shit right there on the islands. You see ports and shit and this, that, and the third. And so yeah, it's building itself up for a hell of a war. You see what I'm saying? On the planet, Iran, China, and Russia. You see, if India come on the side of the United States and NATO, I think that would be probably the ticket that weigh on for the West. I don't think they would be able to take them if India come on their side. If India come on the side of the West, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That'll be enough to offset their ass. Cause shit, yeah. Yeah, Pakistan, but Pakistan is destabilized. It's destabilized. They got nukes But they you know they damn near like the Soviet Union when it failed. You see what I'm saying? Where they had to come in there and help them get their nukes out of there and every goddamn thing. They didn't even have, and so Pakistan economy is then collapsed. They in fucking disarray over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The British created that, just like the Middle East. They created Pakistan. They cut India up. It wasn't no Pakistan. Pakistan was a part of India. But they giving all these, they making these promises to all these people in the so-called empire that they cutting in segments and shit, and so they created Pakistan and gave it to the Muslims that was in India. You see, but and it's a volatile situation over there. You see, it's a volatile situation, but at the same time, Pakistan is destabilized. They got to get their shit together. You see what I'm saying? They ain't in no predicament to be, they need to get their shit. But I'm quite sure they could be an instrument. But I ain't seen them play no major part in the world on nothing in a long ass time. You see what I'm saying? I ain't seen them play no major part in nothing outside of the turmoil in their own country. And so what's going on right now, China is most definitely going because they feel that if they could push the focus of the United States on the Middle East and shit, this, that, and the third, that they'll have time to set up some shit over in they shit. You see what I'm saying? That's they thinking. You see? Yeah, you know what? You can't eat nukes though. You see, that's what it boiled down to. You can't eat nukes. So yeah, you got some nukes that might deter, but you could still have a broken economy and shit. And this, that, and the third. That don't mean you got a stabilized nation just because you got nukes. You know what I'm saying? So when it boiled down to the get down, they got nukes, but they got a destabilized fucking government and a collapsed economy and shit and this, that, and the third. Thank you, family. Uh-oh. We got new members. That's right. That's beautiful. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, so yeah, we got but see, this is what we talk about. This is, I've been into world geography and even military for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? China is, Ray, China is having an economic crisis because United States is their number one trading partner. Motherfuckers talk about it. Both of them. You see? Both of them. You see? Mongolia ain't got nothing. Mongolia is primarily a fucking waste. I ain't gonna say a waste. It's just open field. Shit. Mongolia is is really, they don't have a large population, and so what is they call the steppes. You see what I'm saying? Where it's just open land and shit like that, mountains and shit. They ain't got nothing. No, Mongolia ain't gonna do nothing. I know the Turks and shit came out of that area, but they was on horseback and shit. So yeah, no, yeah, they ain't nothing but nomads and shit out there in TPs and shit and this, that, and the third. You see, they got land, but they, you know, tech probably technically they probably vassals of China. You see what I'm saying? Mongolia is probably, and I know what, and I looked that up. I did not too long ago, but they might be vassals of China one way or another. You see what I'm saying? If they had to go in there, you know, I don't know about that BRICS. I don't know. I don't know about BRICS. I don't know about that because a lot of people is when you look and you see China and Russia. China and Russia ain't as tight as a lot of people. They doing it not just on the strength of, but they got issues. They got issues. You see, and we'll get into that. Russia then, jumped on China before. You know what I'm saying? And took shit from China, land and shit. So a lot of that land that's part of Russia today was once a part of China. When China was weak, Russia was the worst. You had France, you had Britain, they all got a piece of China for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But Russia did them the worst. Still, like on, over there, on that Northern Pacific front and shit, this, that, and the third. A lot of that used to be China. You know what I'm saying? Manchuria and shit up in there. Yeah, they took that. They annexed that. And some of them islands over there, they took some of that. That used to be China. So, and then, China taking some of Russia's technology and copying the shit and this, that, and the third. So yeah, they are front for each other for a minute, but China has an underlining agenda to even usurp Russia. And they know that. China ain't trying to just be friends with Russia. They trying to usurp their motherfucking ass. So yeah, they'll dance, but they dancing looking out the side of their eye at one another. You see what I'm saying? In Russia, it's gonna be hard for Russia to take a back seat to China. But that's what China planned on. They plan on Russia playing the back. You know what I'm saying? They don't intend on Russia being in the front. And so Russia ready to deal with that? I don't believe they is. So yeah, they dealing with it right now because the West is putting pressure on their ass. And so, because they putting pressure on both of their ass, they gonna try to come together because Russia can't deal with the West by themselves. They can't. They just can't. They didn't fuck their economy up. They got nukes, but they didn't fuck their economy up. You see what I'm saying? They didn't fuck their economy up, and China is hiccuping too because, the United States is still its number one trading partner. So, when you think about, what other nation do if China, because China envisioned being this leader in the world, but how is it gonna be that if it's no longer trading with the United States and nobody else can replace the United States in economic power? You see, and so if China don't have the United States, the future that it see is not there. Okay, people got to be clear about that. You see what I'm saying? People got to be clear about that. So what nation? Russia? Russia can't replace the United States. They can't. China got a bigger economy than Russia. Russia, it's a whole lot of nations that got a bigger economy, so Russia can't replace. And if they fall out with the United States, then they're gonna fall. You might get a peep squeak like France or something like that. Because you can see how Macron is. He tried to over there with them Chinese and kissing their ass and shit. But France is nowhere as big as the United States economically. They cannot replace the United States economically. So China is hiccuping because the United States is putting them goddamn tariffs on their ass and shit like that. And so, they didn't put themselves out there. And they didn't, they didn't borrow. They didn't build up all type of cities over there that's empty and shit. Ain't nobody even. They didn't build all kind of cities that's just empty, buildings empty and shit, and this, that, and the third. And so, yeah, they probably raced ahead of, when you ain't never had shit. And, and they was, a great civilization at some time, but we talking about in the modern world. And so when you ain't had shit and you jump out there too soon and you building all this shit, and you know what I'm saying? And you really don't have, the capacity to really pop it off yet. You know what I'm saying? They're just like Dubai. A lot of that shit over there. They got all them buildings, but a lot of that shit empty. Even in New York, they done built all them goddamn skyscrapers over there, and say have been stick go. Okay. Yeah. 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 But that's what it is, family. So, we keeping our eyes on. I'm gonna keep you informed the best way I know how, family. Explain it to you and shit. We're gonna touch on that tomorrow. We'll touch on some and show you the demographics. I'm gonna talk about what Russia did to China so you can understand it. And we'll get into in depth with Saudi Arabia and Iran so we can see, you got to see the whole. If you don't see this shit, then from and study the each area and breaking it down and looking at the beef that been going, you won't really understand what's going on over there. You see what I'm saying? But I'm gonna lace you so you can. It's like when you zoom out, you got to zoom out. You see, and then you can zoom in. You see, but when you zoom out and then you look at all the players and how they've been, engaging one another and who's for who and who ain't for who. You see, and then you can zoom in. And then when you zoom out and you can see who's connected and who's not connected and the possibilities of war, and see, and that's what people's is saying, that it's going to expand because they zooming out and they seeing the bigger picture. And that's what we doing here today. I want to thank y'all for staying up with the general. We didn't reach the third segment. We'll be black tomorrow. Thank you for staying in here with the lessons. This is General Sarah Seti. Make sure you support Patreon. Get over there. Make sure you support generalseti.com. Make sure you support, family. And kingseti.com. Get over there. Support. It's fire. Believe me, it's more than fire for your family. This is General Sarah Seti saying, hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power.